Welcome back to One Comic Book a Day, and today we will be talking about, seeing that we got to issue 30 of Action Comics last week, how Superman has changed over the last 10 issues of Action Comics and 2 or 3 Superman comics at this point, which adds up to about 10 issues of Action Comic Book stories, even more if you think about it. It's around 8 to 12 new stories. Man, the Superman comics are long. This one won't be 10 things because I was honestly stretching it at 10 to 20 and 20 to 30. He hasn't exactly evolved all that much. There's kind of minor stuff and a few big stuff and some more maybe-ish stuff. I'll get to that. So number one, and the biggest maybe, Superman can fly. Maybe. So Superman doesn't really start to fly in the comic book. He starts to fly in the radio show, which is happening by now. And the problem is, for good 20 or so issues, they never outright say he's fine, but he's not exactly leaping. The panels are not telling it very well. There's maybe 2 or 3 panels, and most of them are him midair, but he's moving in a way that he's not leaping, and eventually, I think we're only 5 issues away from him doing a spin as falling and going straight up without touching the ground, which is definitely not leaping. The radio show did it because it's much easier to deal with than him just kind of leaping across, especially if you're describing it through a audio format. Though you would think something like a comic that's visual would make this clear, but nope. 2. Lex Luthor is finally here. And Lex Luthor is just such a boon to this series. Before him, mobsters doing nothing to Superman, and the Ultra Humanite trying maybe one thing and then running for it. Luthor's stories involve him doing something big and crazy and actually trying several things out on Superman. It's never just like one death trap. It's always like mini death traps. He's sort of testing Superman out, seeing what does and doesn't work against him. And hell, he gets away from Superman in one issue by shooting an earthquake machine at him and him going catering into the earth. I mean, that is an actual fight for Superman. So yeah, every time you see a Luthor story, it's just, you know you're getting something special compared to the rest of these stories. 3, and another maybe. Clark and Lois dating? Question mark? They're definitely going on a lot of dates. A lot more issues are starting with them like out on a date. Like Lois is agreeing to go on a date with Clark almost every day, it feels like. But they're not exactly dating. And you would actually think at this point, especially at this point of these two people's lives at this time, they probably would have just settled for each other at that point. Like, they should be dating and or married. That's not going to become very clear till later on. It is nice to see them be somewhat nice to each other as Lois has kind of grown a little softer and not constantly like bickering at him to be more courageous or fight. There's still some of that, but it's not like just constant her just like loathing his existence, which was the part I had a problem with when she was fairly cold. She's not fairly cold anymore. 4, we have more than just bullets don't work on him. A lot of things don't work on him. From like lava to bright lights to bombs to, though the bombs will at least knock him out, to maybe hypnosis. And that brings us to number 5. Hypnosis question mark. It depends. Sometimes it doesn't work on him at all. Other times, at best, it will just paralyze him and he'll be able to fight out of the paralysis. But there's definitely more stuff working against him. And actually, number 6 is ray guns work on him. Most rays seem to do something to him. Even if they're meant to kill somebody, they'll at least kind of knock him out. Also, rays exist, which is much more fun and a bigger challenge for a character like Superman who is bulletproof. It's like the villains are learning. 7, the costume actually is pretty much the costume we're going to have for the rest. Originally, the shield was much smaller. Now it's kind of consistently more the triangle one, and it can be very big, especially if like Jack Burnley is drawing it. 8, we're seeing somewhat of a structure, a story structure. I know this is not how much Superman's changing, but hell, it's my channel. I can talk whatever I want to talk about. Siegel seems to be learning that you kind of can get away with weaker threats if you can just spend half the comic setting up the threat and seeing whoever this threat is kind of get away with anything and nothing can really stop him. That when Superman shows up in the second half and you know he is going to easily defeat the villain, you kind of have this nice build-up and tension of like, ooh, I'm really excited to see Superman kick this guy's butt. And that's all I ask. Like, that would make every mobster story about 10 times better at this point. That's all I really have for 20 to 30. Like I said, it was going to be kind of shorter. I actually got more out than I thought I would get. But he is changing, and he's changing for the better. The murdering is more of a question because there's definitely people dying, but it's not happening as much as it used to. He does let more people die, though. So a give and take relationship with death and Superman. I can't wait to see how he's going to change from 30 to 40, or if that's even going to be that big of a change. It's going to be coming, especially once we get into the 50s, but we're still in the early 40s. And that is it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell icon to get notifications when a new video goes up. I do this Monday through Thursday, but usually I'm doing a Superman comic. Or on Fridays, Bat Friday, where I cover a Detective Comics Batman story or a Batman issue. And until next time, let us ponder the question, whatever did happen to the Man of Tomorrow? Also, can he actually fly at this point? It's so unclear. Bye.